Right. Welcome to the Angus Conversation. I'm your host, Miranda Reiman, with my co-host, CEO of the American Angus Association, Mark McCully, and my guest co-host, Ava Lightfried here.
Hello, everyone. Great to be back for day 2 of our podcast series here at the National Junior Angus Show.
Absolutely. One of my favorite parts of the week is this chance to get to sit down and learn from juniors and learn a little bit more about what's going on at the show. So I guess as we were talking in the intro about things that you've had going on this week and how you've prepared for the week and things like that, we talked a little bit about how you select the contests and the topics for the contests and some of the things that are going on here at Junior Show.
Yeah, so our wonderful education director, Katie Collison, heads up the education committee for us this year. And today we have the extemporaneous speaking contest. So we've got to select the topics for that, just thinking about things that are relevant and then also fun for our juniors. So we select topics for that, as well as creative writing and then the graphic design contest. So like I said, relevant for our juniors, but also allows them to learn a little bit, but also enjoy what they're assembling their pieces on.
Is the topic for extemporaneous, is that top secret yet? Or is it public?
It's ongoing right now, so I guess no one will hear this until it's over. But
yeah, so juniors actually get to select 3 topics from a hat or a bowl, and then they get to pick the one that they are most confident in speaking about.
Excellent.
So yeah, so
there's dozens of them.
Dozens of them.
Yeah. Excellent.
I have judged the creative writing before, and let me tell you, it is a tough thing to judge. There's a lot of creative juniors out there. It's kind of fun to see, not only can they excel in the show ring, but it's fun to see all the things that they come up with, and it's tough competition. So that's just a tiny slice. I'm sure that everyone who judges any of those contests would say the same thing for sure.
Yes, we're very proud of our juniors. We know they're very intellectual and they have a lot to say. So it's fun to see them in different lights and show off what they know and in a creative way too.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we have some guests with us today that I would say should be a fun topic to get into, because we have a current junior and also a junior that's aged out and now taken that experience out into the world. So I guess let's just jump right into it, because it is a busy day here at the show, and we've stolen 2 National Junior Angus board members that are going to need to get back in the ring. So
Ava, we just pulled you out of the ring.
Ava 2,
Ava
second
Wood,
Ava.
yeah.
Ava
this
Wood,
might be
Ava W.
Yeah.
That's our official nicknames.
We have some others.
Yeah.
But
Very good. Well, Ava, so glad to have you with us. Of course, you're on the board, grew up under your family's North Carolina Angus operation, and you just want to give us a kind of brief, who is Ava?
Yeah, of course. So I've been showing since I was 8, because that used to be the age before we changed it to 7. My first junior nationals that I attended was 2013 in Kansas City. My first one showing was in 2016 in Grand Island. I've been to all of them except 2015 in Tulsa. So gone to plenty. We've been showing all over the country, statewide, countywide, everything in between. And we run a commercial operation. We now have a farm market, and where we used to have a production sale every year, we turned it into a wedding venue. Since we're really close to the city of Raleigh, agritourism is a big thing we have to do, and we love to do it as well. So we recently renovated our production sale barn into a wedding venue. So we've been doing that, and we love doing that. We love having people that are not used to agriculture come. And we actually have a spot on our farm where you can get married with cows grazing right behind you. And that pulls a lot of business, because there's not many places, especially near Raleigh, where you can do that. I don't know if any, actually. So we do that. And we also sell beef out of our farm market and pork. Our family also does commercial hog farming. That's our main thing. But we obviously have a big Angus herd that we are super active in.
Excellent. Well, that is definitely something that we're going to dig into a little bit on this podcast, talk more about that venue. But I know you come from a family with strong Angus roots. You're not the only superstar of the family. Your sister Mary was also involved. And then also your brother Justin here, right to your right. So Justin, glad to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Tell us just a little bit about your Angus involvement.
I've been showing Angus cattle since I was 9. And I did not get to go to my first junior nationals until 2013. That was the family's inaugural one. I was 12 when I went, so I was a little later to the ball game. Ava and Mary were able to benefit from getting to go a
plight
little
of being the
earlier.
older sibling. Yeah, you got the shaft,
but,
is what I
blazed
hear
the
in there.
trail.
Yeah. I actually did
Still
go
bitter.
To yeah, a little bit. I actually did get to go to the 2015 Junior Nationals. I was the only one of us three that went that year. So since 2013, I've been to every one of them. Went and served on the junior board starting in 2019, the last time it was here in Louisville. Went off in 2021 in Grand Island. I was the leadership director. I was actually the last leadership director.
Okay.
The very next group, they switched the name to Education and Events.
Yeah.
I was
So-
going to say, is that you did it so poorly they deleted it?
They
or you
may
did
have.
it?
No,
I
they
did
set
it.
the standard so
Yeah.
Or you
high.
did
They
it so
said,
well that you...
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
Had to
Yeah.
end on a high note for
Yeah,
them.
that's
That's
right.
right.
That's
They
right.
could never have another.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, they didn't. You know, my Angus involvement was certainly impactful on everything I did. Ended up going to Hutchinson Community College, did some livestock judging there, transferred to Oklahoma State, went there as well. And since I've come home from Oklahoma, been working on the family farm, kind of taking over the cattle side of things. I help out in all the other avenues as well, the wedding venue, the farm market, the hog farm as well, but mainly the cattle is kind of what I'm in charge of now. And we've, with the market and, you know, a growing evolution of our operation back home, we've had to kind of switch our gears a little bit with the cow herd, but that's been fun to navigate, certainly.
Sure, absolutely.
And so it was mentioned, Sister Mary, also on the board.
Yes.
I'm not sure I know of another family that have had 3 siblings on the board. Is
We're
that
the first.
okay?
I don't,
First,
I don't,
No, we confirmed it
you
when I
confirmed
got
it.
on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
My dad is the only parent that's had all 3 of his kids on the board. So
he probably confirmed it with the historian, Tom
Yeah.
Berg.
With Tom, and,
Yeah.
and if he blessed
I mean,
it, then
yeah,
it's true,
yeah.
If
right?
Tom-
and then
bless
we
it,
had
that's
a
right.
queen too. Mary was queen too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Right.
we've hit all the boxes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, Ava, was there ever like a decision you had to make about, am I going to run for the board, or was it just determined you were going to run for the board?
Well, I like to say, and when I talked to Megan when I first got on the board to interview, I was like, yes, Justin and Mary were both on the board, but that's not why I was on the board.
Yeah.
It was never a, okay, your brother or
This is
sister,
what I
your
have-
sister
yes.
did it. It was never that. We were both just so involved. And I was actually talking to Katie Collison last night. She's my roommate. And we were talking about, she was like, I wish I went to more conferences and all that to get on, like, before getting on the board, because they're so fun. And I was like, that was just a thing. As soon as we could do it, we did it. It was never, do you want to or you have to.
Yeah.
We just did
You
it.
just
It
knew
was
you were
never
going to.
It was your decision.
Yeah, it was our
your
decision,
path.
but
yeah.
we did it. And
Right.
obviously our dad was there to make sure we did it, but I mean, our state pushed it. It was
Yeah.
always, the woods are going to be there. The woods were everywhere. If there was a show, there was Angus cattle. The woods represented North Carolina, along with other families, of course, but we really were doing
Yeah.
everything and anything we could. Last 4th of July, I was like, this is my first 4th of July. I haven't been at a junior nationals, and I don't even know how
Didn't even know
long.
how to celebrate the
No,
4th
I
without
didn't.
cattle.
I was like, not at a cow show. This is strange.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was
That's
there a
great.
lot of pressure? What if you would have made it?
Well, luckily, we had a smaller group, so there were 6 of us, so I didn't have that pressure, but I still, like, I saw my dad always made fun of me. Not made fun of me. It was a joke.
Joking.
I
yeah.
took my delegate job very, very serious. And
Sure.
the year Ava's 14 ran, I was like, okay, I took it very serious because I was like, I know I'm running next year. I didn't know how many I was running with. I was like, I want to elect people that I know I would serve well with. So I took that specifically that year, but every single year, Dad made fun of me because I had notes. I was like, these people have talked to me this many times, and I was just like, I took my job very seriously, and I just loved getting to know the candidates. So,
And that's very common among all of our delegates. They take
It
their
is.
job very, very seriously.
and we saw that passion last year because obviously it was a weird year last year with only 6 candidates, and it was honestly, even if you felt positive, if you had concerns, I still loved seeing how passionate the delegates were, and a lot of those delegates last year are now candidates, so they're realizing how it is on our side, having to run for the board. So it's really great to have passionate delegates, and you want to talk to them before your annual meeting, let me tell you.
So maybe explain that process a little bit. For some of our listeners, they may be familiar with the adult delegate process, but maybe not as familiar with the junior delegate process. So you mentioned the annual meeting and things. So maybe explain that process just a little bit.
Justin, you want to talk about your experience with it?
Yeah. Last time I was here in Louisville, I kind of was as serious about making sure finding all the delegates before the Tuesday night dinner. made my way around the barns. You have the
So every state gets
two.
Yeah.
And then you also have 2 alternates
Yeah.
in case the 2 that you initially elected couldn't make it or for some reason couldn't make the meeting or whatever.
Right.
And so each state that's represented has 2 delegates, and you have a meeting at the beginning of the week, a very informal one, just very short, sweet, introductory. Here are the candidates, here are the delegates. Try and find them in the barn. And so I made sure to get as many names down as I could on my phone and went through and put a check mark by everybody that I talked to. And then Tuesday night, you get there, you have a meal with everybody, and then each candidate gives their speech. And I think it's supposed to be about 5 minutes or so.
It's about 2 to 3.
So they've shortened it since,
Yes.
since I
It's
did
a
it.
pretty
No, it's a
After
informal.
your 5 minutes
Yeah.
each. They,
After Ava's year of 14 candidates we had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
right.
had to take an intermission that year.
Yeah.
So.
I remember that year.
But
Yeah.
every candidate does a speech, and then after that you do a round robin table.
Round table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
round table discussion where each candidate goes to every single table
Mhm.
and each delegate gets to ask the candidate specific questions.
Mhm.
And that was the funnest part of the evening for me.
I
The-
agree.
The speech is very stressful, I feel like, and once you get past that kind of hump in the middle, and all you're doing now is talking to your constituents.
You're just
I guess.
talking now.
Yeah, you're
Right.
just talking.
You're just
It's
having a
easier to talk to
conversation.
Very
people than
fun.
to talk at people.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
And since you listeners can't see us all, me, Ava, and Justin, we're all shaking our heads very hard that
Yeah.
that speech is the most stressful, and it's just fun to chat with
Yeah.
the delegates.
Justin, on the way to junior nationals, whenever I was running for the board, I think actually told me to quit saying my speech so much because I kept I kept reciting it.
You
I
could have
was
given
like,
it for her. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
I
that's
could've,
how we were with
probably.
Mary's
Uh-huh.
Queen speech. I thought I did a lot. I could recite the first paragraph of Mary's Queen speech. The
You
year
probably
she ran
still
for the
know it.
Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No.
Well, talking through your guys' National Junior Angus experiences, what kind of ones stand out as being the most formative, or the ones that you think you've maybe gotten the most from over the years?
This is from all 3 of us, I would say. We've had a very long, deep Angus journey. In 2015, our mom passed away, stage 4 lung cancer. So we were already super involved in the Angus Association when that happened. So obviously that was a very formative life experience, obviously, but also a formative Angus experience because we saw our Angus family, surround us through that hard time. And then with that, we had an endowment. I don't remember what year that started. Justin might know.
2016 was the first
Yeah.
year it
I-
was started.
Yeah.
Or it was the first year a scholarship was awarded.
We, I think in 2015, we sold a heifer at one of our state sales to start an endowment for our mother Dietta's memorial scholarship. So that was been a super, I would say, a super formative experience for us. Away from junior board stuff, and that's just the Angus Foundation, that was
Absolutely.
great
Yeah.
for us. So every year we've awarded a scholarship. Me, Mary, and Justin have both been lucky enough to receive it, and this year another North Carolina kid received it. So it's super exciting, and it's always been someone from North Carolina. We prioritize North Carolina kids, but if we don't have anyone from North Carolina, anyone can receive it. So it's super exciting that we get to do that. So that's just one that stands out to me. He might have another thought,
In
but
terms of formative, I think kids getting involved early, with non-show ring type stuff. Obviously, the young kids that are here at this show, they don't get to go to the conferences, but the experiences outside of the ring that you have at shows, the mentoring program, which is now AMP, that's super formative. Everything that you do that the junior board and the Junior Angus Association, the American Angus Association provides for young kids outside of the ring, I think that's really important because it's those sorts of experiences that make you want to come back to shows. It's those experiences that make you want to say, well, when I get old enough, I'm going to go to Raising the Bar. I'm going to go to lead.
Mhm.
And then when I get old enough, maybe I want to run for the junior board. Just talking with the family from my state back there in the barns before I walked up here, and his kid's not been involved very long. And he's had such a blast at these shows and different things that he's had the opportunity to do. He's thinking, well, maybe running for the board's something I want to do. And he's very young. That inspiration in terms of getting them started early, showing them that there's so much more to offer at these shows than just what goes on in the show ring, I think super important. And it was very formative for me growing up as well. It made a lot of friends, made a lot of connections, and was able to get really involved.
Has your perspective on the things that you have learned from the association changed as you've gotten older?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know that they've changed. As I've gotten older, it's certainly evolved.
You're not that much older. Wait till you get old.
Yeah.
Then you look back
Yeah.
at these things.
But
Yeah.
as I've continued to get further and further away from my time as a junior, it's evolved, certainly through college. So when I ran for the board, I ran right out of high school. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that.
Yeah.
In my situation, that was something that I felt like I needed to do and go ahead and get done. So that's how I did it. But Mary and Ava, they were a year or so into college before they ran, and that's what I would recommend. I had to do a lot of growing up as a person, and I was relatively mature for my age still. But, through college and out in the real world now doing big kid stuff, I don't have homework. I've got bills and stuff.
Right.
The life lessons I've learned certainly stay with me, but you continue to see them through a different angle,
Sure.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, well said.
I would recommend also waiting to get maybe a year or two into college, figuring out who you are and then how to figure out how to fit into your team if elected to the board, I think is very important. And just being there for your people, but making sure that you know who you are first or have a good sense of it, I think is very important.
I definitely agree with that. And obviously in those bigger states, it's hard. We kind of had it kind of lucky. I say we have it lucky, but since 2019, we've had a North Carolina kid on the board. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're a
It's
small
as
state with a
competitive
lot
as-
of
Yeah.
show. Like we're represented well for sure. So, I mean, we say Justin did it too early, Mary did it too late, I did it the perfect time. Get that freshman
That's the
year
way that it
under.
works when you're the baby.
Yeah, well, just the way it worked with North Carolina. It's
Yeah.
just as soon as one got off, the other one got on. So it's just how it worked out. But yep, because then I wrap up school the same time I wrap up with the board, and then you go into adulthood and navigate that. So,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Justin, the reason I asked that question is I was thinking in my head that sometimes kids think they're learning about cattle. That's what you're doing, but you're really probably learning so much more outside of
With
cattle
the
and animal
public
science.
speaking skills, the leadership skills, they, like I said, go back to the opportunities outside of the ring. Certainly it pays off when you decide to run for the board or when you go to college or a job interview or just general professional life. All those things, like you guys talking about the public speaking contest earlier, those sorts of experiences just continue to pay off. You think you're doing a contest today, but 10 years down the road, you're that much more prepared for something else. Certainly what brings us all together is Angus cattle. And of all the stuff that I've learned the most about Angus cattle through showing and going to shows and conferences. But the stuff that you learn around it that also seems to kind of go hand in hand with it is what was most rewarding for me, certainly.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I actually recently got a new job. And in my interview process, I was talking about how I was on the board and how all these things I'd have to ask off for. I'm like, I'm not on vacation. I'm working. Like,
Yeah.
I just have to not be here. After the fact, I got the job and I was talking to my boss and she was like, yeah, main thing that stood out was like how professional your resume and your cover letter was. She was like, you were the only person who submitted a cover letter. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like
that seems
was
like
just
the
a
bar.
given.
Yeah.
I was
right.
like, and then she said, with all your Angus board stuff, she said, I don't even really know what that is, but I just knew you would be able to talk to anyone and everybody and be good in whatever role and a good person to hire within and growing through the company. And I was like, yeah, that's really rewarding to hear because I'm glad to hear not even people who understand what the Angus Association is or whatever still recognize the prestigiousness about it. So
Yeah.
definitely.
One thing the National Junior Angus Association and the American Angus Association does really well is exposure, I think. So, yes, we're learning a lot about Angus cattle. We're also meeting breeders, fellow young breeders especially, and then getting that exposure to public speaking and being in those instances where you have to think on your feet and deal with problem solving, I think is really important.
Oh, yeah.
You guys mentioned being in boardrooms and you're on committees. I mean, the other thing, you learn how to work together, right? You learn how to lead into change, to get your ideas conveyed, maybe sometimes how to bring collaborative thoughts together out of groups. Those are things, exposure that as an employer, I'm looking at you, Ava, as I would think, looking on your resume, I'm like, wow, there's a skill that you come already with that,
Right.
Obviously in a workplace, a work environment is super valuable each and every day.
Those are things that are hard to teach
They're
too.
hard-
You
so hard to
almost
teach.
have to just do
Right.
them and
Yeah,
have that
and
experience.
To touch on that teamwork thing, we gave our interviews a couple nights ago for our officer positions for the new six to, go on to their next year as the old six. Jacqueline said after our interviews that every single one of us said how valuable teamwork was and how learning how to navigate everyone's personalities has been something truly an obstacle, but honestly a reward at the end of the day. And she said it was unanimous across the board. Every single one of you said that. So I was
awesome.
like, it's awesome that we were all separately, doors shut in the room. We all said the same thing. So that just shows how we've worked as a board, and the Old Six has done a great job of, setting that standard and being an example.
You are diverse as board members. I mean, come from different parts of the country. You have different, some first generation, multi-generational.
Yeah, not unlike our association board.
Exactly. It's very reflective of the junior membership and the bigger membership, the adult membership, but that I guess my point being
there's not a cookie
cutter. Yeah, there's not a here's what it takes to be on the junior board. The reality is it takes, you're obviously all very impressive people and ambitious to step out, but leaders but come with different perspectives. And so when you put those different perspectives into a room or onto a call to make decisions,
you can create something awesome.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So talking about teamwork is kind of a nice segue to actually we invited you here to talk a little bit more about your teamwork as a family, I guess, and to talk about what you got going on there. Especially, it was interesting to me to hear about your wedding venue and the added parts to your operation that you have going on there. So maybe give us a little bit more. You said it was your production site. Yeah, your production barn. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
The barn that the wedding event venue's in now has served many hats over the years. It's where we had our annual production sales, which we don't have anymore. We primarily, if we sell Angus cattle, we sell at private treaty or through, consignment sales. That was all part of the evolution of the operation at home. Did serve as our production sale barn. When we weren't having a sale, it's where we kept feeds, where we kept hay. It's where we worked on tractors and lawnmowers and Kubotas and all that sort of stuff. Over the years, family friends, church friends, whoever, would reach out to us about, hey, can, we get married at your place? And we didn't really have a setup for a wedding, but we were like, sure.
Have air conditioning.
Just come out. Yeah. If you want to get married, come try it out. You do what you want to do.
Right.
And the number of people that kept calling and asking was growing. And we were like, well, we should renovate this and make it a little bit more of a business and make some money at it.
Yeah.
If we're just going to have people keep showing up
It's
and having
just
weddings.
a lot of work.
Taking up a weekend of around the farm. We got to that point. We all jumped in, and my grandparents, my dad, and my stepmom, and us kids are all plugged into it in one way or another. And it's continuing to grow. And a couple years ago, right before my dad got remarried, we remodeled the barn.
The Thursday before his wedding.
Yeah.
The paint was drying on the wall.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
Got married
just
on a
in
Saturday.
time. And we've actually done some more upgrades this spring. Our other sister Mary's getting married at home. She lives in Nebraska now, but she'll be getting married in North Carolina in November. And so, again, we've got a whole list of stuff we want to get knocked
There's
off
nothing
and
like a
done
deadline.
before her wedding. Yeah.
And the paint will be drying November 20th.
Yeah. But so we've got some more stuff we're looking to add to it, constantly renovating or improving or adding this, adding that, just to improve the facilities. That's certainly been very interesting. And I actually enjoy it. The connective part to the community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wedding venues around us. The drive to get married on a farm or like in a field somewhere, that's a big deal.
Right.
I don't know if it is across the country, but in North Carolina it is. If you're not getting married in a place like that, I don't know where you're getting married at, because everybody's doing it. Our wedding venue, our space, our farm, it's certainly a lot more authentic in terms of the other locations around us, because it is, the other days out of the week, it is a working cattle farm. It is a working hog farm. I get up every morning and feed cows and go check this and go do that. And we do a whole lot around there. So it's certainly more authentic. And I think that's a big attraction to what draws people to us. And as we continue to get our name out there, we continue to book more weddings. I think 2027 is, the calendar is filling up
Big
a lot.
year for us.
I don't think we've scratched the surface of what it's going to be like to have a wedding venue full time.
No.
So we'll get there when we get to it. But we've had a lot of fun doing it, certainly.
Sure.
And a big credit to Justin because it was like his idea forever ago, and it was always, we'll get there, we'll do it, we'll start charging, we'll make a business out of it, and it finally got the ball rolling, and he was like, we need to do it.
Well, my dad, my grandparents, my whole life, come the end of the week scratching their heads about paying the bills. Well, what are we gonna do then? And I'm like, well, you've got people getting married out here.
Barn.
Let's make some money at it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And it's starting to pay off.
Yeah.
Every family's got that day of the week where you sit down. Well, what are we gonna do this week?
Yep.
And so that was certainly very fun to do, and it's been very fun to see it grow. And just, I think the most unique part of it to me is seeing the farm that I grew up on, us transforming it.
Yes.
Like, we've added a groom's quarter. Is that what we call it, Ava?
Yeah.
Groom's quarter. Okay.
Wow.
A place for the grooms to hang out.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be where I kept my show tack. I've got to find somewhere else to keep it now.
And before that, it stored tobacco.
Yeah,
so.
tobacco sticks and
That's
tobacco.
right,
Yeah.
And so, that's been really cool, like repurposing old spaces into something new.
And people love that.
And fruitful.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
think that's really cool and unique. The original home place is now the bridal suite.
Mhm.
That was
Where our grandmother was born.
where our office. Yeah. Our great grandmother lived in that house.
Mm.
That's how long the family's been on the property, on the farm. So, that's been the most rewarding part of it to me, is the farm I grew up interacting on, seeing it grow and turn into something new, but to connect the community and to, be financially beneficial to us as a family and a farm. I think that's very unique.
Yeah.
And I think getting to share that with other people
Yeah.
then too, to have them see kind of how you guys
Absolutely.
live and operate.
Well, the market kind of is more of what I would say is a way for us to show how we utilize it as far as the farm goes. When you're utilizing the event space, you're maybe not as concerned about the story and the roots and what goes on the other days, but the market's also been very beneficial. And selling beef, something that really took off for us after COVID,
Sure.
and it just continues to grow and grow.
I would say definitely, yeah. Like you said, the market definitely is people more fascinated by our everyday lives and how we operate as a family. But also, I would say the event space, like what really helps is like our family dynamic. When people come and tour the property, I mean, a lot of times they're meeting the 3 generations that currently live on the farm and operate it. Sometimes it's just dad, sometimes it's just our stepmom Casey, and sometimes it's the whole hee-haw gang. And then they'll see the barn cat and they'll see all the dogs, and it's like they're literally walking into a family dynamic, because we don't have any. We have a few employees here and there, but not for the venue. The venue is fully everyone with the last name Wood runs it. So there's no which we'll probably get to a point where we're going to need outside help, because genuinely none of us have that amount of time. So it's fully operated by family, which a lot of people love and appreciate, and our family's there on their wedding day, and they've already familiarized them to be there as a resource. So they love that aspect of it too. It's like they made a friend, and it's all of us one big family that's doing it and helping them with it. So that's definitely a big draw, I would say.
So what is more stressful, working together as a family on a show string or on a wedding venue?
Getting ready for a wedding, probably, I would say getting ready for a wedding is more stressful, because the show string is just the kids, and a lot of it's on Justin.
Yeah,
so.
I was about to say it's more stressful for me at a cow show.
I know. I told Justin this whole summer show season, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get you a really nice gift, because I've not helped at all.
Yeah.
I've been there to walk the cow in the ring, and I'm like, here you go. You know.
At least she'll admit it, right?
No,
Yeah.
I literally told him, I was like, I'm gonna have to get you something nice after junior nationals, and you need to go on a vacation, full paid vacation for a week
Yeah, that would
somewhere
be
that's
nice.
not.
We have it on
go.
record now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
you
already
have it on
told
record.
him. I already told him.
Have to convince my dad now.
Because Grant, another fellow board member at Eastern Regionals, like Justin was just sitting there clipping the cows, and we were walking by through the barns, and Grant was like, I just love how your brother's just towing around your stock for just the love of the game. Just the love of the game. Because I say we did it for Mary, because we did, but when Justin was on the board, he didn't have cows. He didn't show, because he didn't want to put that on us. So truly the love of the game, because we took care of our own stuff, but we didn't have to do that for him. So it's definitely really nice.
I was going to ask how you guys work together as a family, and did that develop naturally out of working together on cattle? I mean, do people have their roles, or do you kind of all jump in, all hands on deck?
Well, at a show, I mean, obviously prior to me being on the board, it was just me and Justin. He was obviously the point man, the head man. I tell everyone when we went to the Angus Association, I didn't know how to do a blood sample on a cow. He's always done it for me. I'm a classic younger sibling. I know how to wash a cow, dry a cow, show a cow, break down a cow. You never want me to clip your cows because I can't do that. Don't ever ask me to fit because I'm bad at it. And because I've just been extremely lucky that, and he likes things done his way. That's also another part of it. So, but obviously we're there to help, but our whole life, that's really not our whole life. Obviously we had help when we were younger, but the second we were aging, especially for him to drive, it was okay, Justin and whoever's going to the show, we're getting in the trailer and going, and my dad will come. I always said, ever since Mom passed away, it's like my dad's our show mom and he's our show dad. So, because my dad's getting the show shirt and ironing it, and he's fitting the cows. So it just that's how it worked out naturally.
Yeah, you have that support system.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, a strong family dynamic. A lot of bickering.
Oh, definitely. It's not
to make you better, right?
Yeah,
Iron
that's right.
sharpens iron.
That's right.
Then you have our granddaddy who just loves watching a show, but if we're not there 8 classes before we get in the ring, he's stressing out.
Yeah.
If you ever attend the Atlantic Nationals, you'll see him ringside just peeking back in the makeup area as soon as they start the show, where are you guys at? So even if we have a senior yearling,
That's all right. It takes all different types of personalities.
Oh,
I think Mark's sometimes that way with me. Is she prepared? Is she really going to
No,
be here
that
and
never
have all her
happens.
stuff?
Yeah.
No, that never happens.
I love it. Well, when you guys think about your wedding venue and your farm and your market and all of those types of things, are there things that you think you learned through the National Junior Angus Association that translate now into your adult life and you've been able to make you successful there?
100%.
Yeah, certainly. We're show cattle's related. You come to Junior Nationals every year. They've got all these clinics and all these workshops and contests that prepare you for all sorts of different aspects of the show ring life. And then outside of the show ring, we've already talked about just how impactful the stuff is for young kids as they continue to progress in their Angus journey. So yeah, I owe a whole lot of my cattle knowledge, my Angus knowledge, to growing up in this association, in this show ring, continuing to learn just as I got older and more mature, certainly.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. I would say something that definitely helps. So with the farm market, we're selling beef. People don't know the cuts of beef, where they come from. We actually have a little chart, all that kind of stuff, genuinely interacting with the public, the amount we do. You truly realize not that it's a bad thing. People genuinely just don't know and they can't help it. It's just wow, and we have a lot of, I call them transplants. They're not from North Carolina. They're from the north. They're coming down because the cost of living is cheaper, and they just don't know anything about agriculture or even a cow, and they're so fascinated. So talking to them and just, telling them, okay, so that's where that comes from. I wouldn't know any of that if I didn't go to a lead conference and CAB in Nebraska. CAB came. That's where I've learned the most about, me and anything, because it came and talked, and being on the board, AGI, all that stuff, all the genetics, everything, learning that, specifically being on the board, you know how to interact with the public, you know how to educate, you know how to help with that. So that's definitely been a big thing, just interacting with the public and just being able to kind of I don't want to say dumb it down, but theoretically, yes, that's what you're doing. Simplify, that's a better way to say it. Simplify what you're saying to them, but and everything that's going on, and it helps. It truly helps the public appreciate what we do and what the industry stands for. So definitely.
All those years participating in the CAB cook-off helped us for the market.
Definitely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of course.
You just don't have to put on a skit before you sell it to
nice.
them.
That's very nice.
Justin, you should have said one of your formative years is when you won the Black Kettle.
Oh, yes, I did.
You won the Black
Yeah.
Kettle.
The coveted.
Yeah, the North Carolina team. I can't even remember
in
what year.
Iowa.
Des Moines, so 2017.
Yeah.
I did. We did a hee-haw skit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mark just judged the cook-off yesterday along with Julie Mays, who's over here producing it, so they know how stiff that competition is.
I'm still full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year that competition just gets more
Notches
competitive, and
Yeah.
it is fantastic.
I sat in and watched one of the contests, and I said those students, I was in a senior division, so they had asked what they were planning to do after college, and every single one of them was so impressive. I thought, man, I am glad I'm not competing against these students for jobs, because they all, I mean, we had a biochemist in there and a psychologist, and I mean, there was just some really cool stuff those students were doing.
So I think about maybe for young people maybe listening to this, they're driving home from the National Junior Show. They had an awesome week. For the three of you guys, maybe these young people have just kind of scratched the surface. Maybe they came here to show, but maybe are hearing from you guys today going, wow, maybe there's a lot more to this than I didn't understand. What's one piece of advice or one first step you would give those young folks of what's next? What should they do next?
I'll start. I'm a big believer in going to the conferences. Like, as a junior board member, there's talk about how we can improve, how we can change. Do we need to do this process to make it better? The events team has done a fantastic job, and it keeps getting better, in my opinion. And I wouldn't know anyone, genuinely. We're not a big state, like I said before, and that really put me on the mark. And I met, when I was running for the board, I already knew 90% of the kids just because of going to conferences alone, because it's the active juniors that go to the conferences, the active ones that want to do something different, love seeing their friends. So, I mean, now as getting older, you see friendships, just get so strong just going to those conferences, because at cow shows, especially these summer ones, you got to rinse 2 times a day, do this, that, and the other, and you just don't have time to go and hang out, and you're doing competitions hopefully, and all that. So definitely I'm like, go to the conferences, away from a cow show, get together, hang out. You get to learn some stuff, you get to do fun stuff, and as a board we try to make it as fun as possible in the best way we can. So
I think about when I was just first starting out, and I was like 12 when I went to my first junior national too. So always show like county fair, state fair, but kind of wanted to get to that next level. And my second junior national was actually in Madison, Wisconsin, from Wisconsin, and we had wonderful advisors that volunteered us to do things, which we didn't know that we would be really interested in them at that time, but that was awesome to have those advisors to go to. Also, on the flip side of that, take advantage of the people you do know and see what they have to provide for you. As a junior board member, I love when juniors come up to me and say, what contest do you think I would be really good at? Or what should I do today? We're here for every single junior that's at the show and not at the show as well. So, and then another great resource is the National Junior Angus Association website. We have every piece of information you could ever want on there, and it has every contest, the rules or what you can be involved in, the mentoring program, all the details that way. So I would definitely say use your resources, and like we always say, get outside your comfort zone, but see those things that you could maybe see yourself doing, or maybe play to your strengths, and that could show you, the path that you want to take in your Angus journey.
I guess I'll just echo both of them a little bit. I think anything outside of the show ring at these shows and conferences is worth your time doing, because that's when you're able to kind of unplug from the cattle side of it, which is what brings us together, but it's also what keeps us busy. And when you get a moment to unplug from that and interact with other juniors or your state advisors or the junior board or somebody with the Angus Association and make a connection, make a friend that's going to last you your entire career, that's the stuff that's most beneficial to me. That's the stuff that I remember the most. You certainly get that at conferences, you get that through contests, or you just get that hanging around in the barn, as you're getting ready to go tie out, or just middle of the day, you have nothing better to do. Any moment that you can unplug from the cattle side a little bit and plug in directly with other juniors and get involved that way will be extremely beneficial, and it'll be the memories that you hold on to the most from shows like this and others throughout the years.
Great advice.
I will say, with the contest aspect, it was a goal for our board to want to get these kids more involved in contests, specifically the older group. And I will say, sitting at contest check-in on Sunday, we had so many people who just forgot to already register when they were registering for the show come and sign up. Caitlin was telling me, and I was like, there's so many posters, which is obviously a younger kid contest, but that's so awesome to me. I just love the fact that people are getting super involved in the contest. And I judged, like you said, you judged the creative writing one before. I judged the creative writing one this year, and I did career development. I wasn't a judge, but I did the time. So I got to see the kids interview, and it's just insane. I did the senior division, and it's just insane how good these people are. And it's because they've been doing contests as soon as they could, because you see the same names every year. And you keep seeing them get higher up on the ranking, is what I'll say for the contest. So seeing how many new people we've already had, just continuing to grow that is just super, super important. Specifically for R12, but I feel like that will continue on for the next 12 and each year after that.
Sure. Well, I love all the great life advice you've given anybody who's listening, really. And
parents too. Encouragement for parents.
Exactly.
To volunteer your kids.
Exactly.
Make them.
Exactly. Especially from 3 people here who've had very impressive Angus careers. We always end on a random question of the week. Are we ready for that? Ready? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something new because I've got the sibling pair here. I want you guys I'm going to do a rapid fire round, and I just want you to answer at the same time. So,
Okay.
So you're going to get a couple random questions right in a row. I want to know who's most likely to be up first out of all you siblings.
Me.
Probably me or Ava.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
All right. Mary
Ava
wouldn't
probably.
dispute it. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Very good. I want to know who's most likely to forget their belt.
Mary.
Ava.
Oh.
Uh-oh. This isn't going to cause a fight later, is it?
No, Mary's not here, and it would be between me and Mary who
Okay.
the fight would cause. So it would not be between me and Justin. So
Who is most likely to get too attached to an animal?
can we have an honorary and say our stepmom, Casey?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The kids get attached, and I definitely love my old show heifers a lot. But
I would say
stepmom, Casey.
I would say of the siblings, probably Mary.
yeah.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. Who is most likely to have to, like, if there's a challenge or a problem, who's like the first one that you're like is going to solve this problem?
Justin.
Me.
You're in pretty good agreement here. I'm liking this. Who's most likely to worry about what's for supper?
Mary.
Oh yeah.
Mary.
She's peculiar, but
Yeah.
but she'll be worried about that.
Okay, a couple more. Who's most likely to get lost on the way to the show?
Ava or Mary.
Yeah, maybe. I always, when I was a little kid, I found my way around the barn pretty good.
None of us are really directionally challenged.
No.
But
Okay.
Ava or Mary, I guess, would be
Yeah,
my.
and never Justin though.
Yeah.
so.
Never Justin. Okay, very good. Who starts packing first?
Mary.
Mary.
She
yeah.
does the most moving around. So
Okay, very good. Who is most likely to have a scholarship named after them someday?
Mary. I'd say she had the queen and the board thing,
Yeah.
and she was chairman. I mean, she hit it all.
She got it all.
Yeah, Mary.
And she'll never let us forget it. So
Very good. Well, I'm out of questions because that was very random. I just thought of it. Anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, that was
before-
great.
Yeah, good.
I didn't want to. Poor Mary's not here to defend herself, so I kind of
Well,
feel
she
bad.
does.
Most of it's
She got
pretty
a-
good.
I hope,
Yeah.
Mary, you're
Shout
listening.
out. I
Yes.
think you
Hi,
did.
Mary.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
right.
Mary.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to visit with us today. We are sitting here ringside with showmanship happening right behind us, and we know that there are probably some of your fellow Green Jackets are over there.
Yeah, they're
wondering,
looking over here.
Are
Hey,
the Avas ever going to get back to
Yeah,
work? Or are
tag
they just
in.
going to chat all day?
And I was in the novice rings, so they're definitely
They're
wondering
needing
when I'm
some
going to
help.
get back.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for your service, your longtime commitment to the Angus breed. Angus,
Yeah.
all of you,
course,
but especially the Wood family, and appreciate all the contributions you've given
course.
back to the association over.
Thank you guys
over the
so
years.
much.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
What a great chance to hear from a couple of Angus members on the way that the program has shaped their lives. To get more coverage from the National Junior Angus Show, be sure to follow Angus Journal on Facebook and Instagram, or Angus Media on TikTok. This has been the Angus Conversation, an Angus Journal podcast.